I get the candy. I probably should have counted right.
Congratulations. Next.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I was wondering, since we are near to season finale, what can you say about it to us? And how did you react when you read it?
Basically, this is what happens.
Because some of y'all are going to be flying during the finale. We probably should just go ahead and tell them.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know. Yeah, what do we say that's not going to totally give it away? I will say one thing, that the last couple of episodes could have all been the season finales. This one is the season finale. There you go.
That was his exact... Jensen and I were hanging out at his house in Austin with a couple of friends. We were playing a game, and it was late. And he asked me a question, and I'm gonna do, this is all Jensen. I didn't respond. He just goes, you wanna go outside and have a beer? Yeah, that's a good idea, let's do that. And that was the exact, and this one is the season finale. Like, I didn't answer the question, Jensen. You just answered your own question. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, the last, for instance, when I read 20, where, is anybody not caught up? Okay. All right. When we see Chuck and he helps the town out and says we need to talk, like that could have been a great season finale. And then how did 21 end? 21 maybe. There were a lot of builds. It was a big season, and it kind of caught, in my opinion, it kind of caught up to us. Like, we were like, wait a second, we're in the 20s? Like, we have so much stuff to do. And so a lot of story points got put into not a lot of, which I guess makes for great television, because the episodes aren't just dragging, stuff's going on.
So it was like a 4-part finale.
Yeah. You've almost like been watching the finale. I guess that's a weird way to kind of skirt the issue. But obviously the boys, with the help of of another cast of characters, trying to do something in episode 22. And they're not going to give up so easily, let's say. Yeah. They what?
And then they talk about it.
And then they talk about it.
Stuff happens, then they talk about it, and then they die. Then they talk about death.
Wouldn't be as surprising. It's supernatural. So.
It's surprising. I'll say this: it was written when we knew we had a season 12, so it's kind of written. In my opinion, it's written as part of a bigger storyline than as like a specific season finale. Does that make any sense?
I have something to say about it.
That's it.
It's the last show of the season.
What?
No. In all seriousness, I will say that this particular episode was more of a collaboration from everybody on the show than any other episode you've seen this season. Meaning, he and I got on the phone with Andrew, the writers, and Bob, and had like a full, hour discussion about story points and dialogue and this and that. Misha did it, Mark did it. Everybody was so kind of involved in getting this to the shape that it was in, that it was, in my opinion, I think it was one of the most collaborative efforts we've all given for a season finale.
Cool. Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Winchester's dialogue never seems to last. I was wondering if you would consider Mortality a gift or a curse.
Well, we're not the lose, Chesters.
I'm gonna go blessing. Because it enables us to continue to save people and to fight. I would say that if they knew that they were immortal, then that would change everything. But the fact that they don't know that that they don't count on the fact that they're going to get brought back or that they're not going to be dead forever or whatever it is, they still fight with the passion of, I could go down doing this, and I don't care, I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna sacrifice my life for this. Sometimes they win, sometimes they... Dang it. Don't say it, don't say it. Kind of boxed myself in on this one. Sometimes they win later. Sometimes they win, and sometimes they win later.
Sometimes they win, sometimes they Chester.
Yeah. So I'm sure if they knew that they were, if they were like, hey, guess what, you will never die, then that might be a curse. But
it also allows us to thematically tell a story about people making the ultimate sacrifice. Which, if we were immortal, then it wouldn't mean as much, right? Because they'd be like, well, coming back anyways. But because we see what they're willing to give up in order to fight for what's right, it's a story that we can all kind of put ourselves into. Because we're like, what would I, die for? What would I be willing to die for? As opposed to like, what would I be willing to just do? Because I can just do it, and it asks you, what are you willing to sacrifice, right? What are you willing to risk? So I guess in that sense, let's say blessing. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. I love it when they do that.
What was that?
They talk at the same time. They say the same thing at the same time. That's the gesture. They talk at the same time. Like a Spanish dance.
Stop. Good morning.
Hi, my question is for both of you. So, Sam and Dean have went through
Sorry, what?
Sam and Dean has went through so many things along the show. They saved so many people, but also, at some point, they've caused so many deaths. Like broke the seal and led to the apocalypse. Where do you think the Winchester brother will end up? Heaven, hell, or somewhere else?
That's a great question. We
Let's just have a whole season of the Winchester brothers in purgatory. Just kicking ass and taking names.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Probably purgatory, because they've done some bad too. I don't know, being honest here. I guess it kind of goes back to the earlier question. I mean, that's what we're able to, those are the kind of questions we're able to pose with this show, right? Because we're kind of vigilantes, we're outlaws for sure, but we're helping.
That's serendipitous.
They muted me because I didn't say heaven.
Yeah. Although, given the season finale and the conversation that is had with a certain character, I would say that their mission from here on out could pave the road to heaven.
That having been said, it seems like
No. We should just leave it.
there's somebody or some buddies who might be able to pull some strings who are really trying to hide us in hell, seems like. From a conversation with the person, and then another person, and they look at each other, moment has had? A moment? Trying to get to heaven, but I think they're trying to pull us back into hell. So, fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi.
Hi, first of all, thank you so much for being here. I love you very much.
Thank you for me.
We can share.
My question is, Sam and Dean have been through pretty much the same things. They faced a lot of bad, and Sam's been to this cage, and Dean's been to purgatory, to hell. So I was wondering, why do you think Sam is more enthusiastic about God when Dean is more reproachful?
Well, I will say that the scene I think you're referring to is when we sit down and talk with Chuck, and that was the way that was written wasn't necessarily the way that I played it. It was written kind of, Dean was more gruff and angry, and he's basically blaming God for all of the crap that's happened and him being absent. And then I read it and I was like, okay, that's probably the way that the writers intended it to be, and I think that would have been fine. But then I thought, well, if he is truly, if angry at God for being absent, then that would make him an absentee father, and this would be more like a son talking to a father and wanting to know why he left him. And that made it, I think, more emotional and personal to Dean, which is why I think that great line at the end, Chuck says, "Don't confuse me," John Winchester. I think it was so powerful, and I think that's where Dean was coming from, was asking, his basically a father figure why he abandoned his children. And so I think that's where Dean was coming from. And I mean, I'm sure Sam could have probably had those thoughts too, but him, I think, being Sam, he was just so excited. And he had just had cereal. So it's like a sugar rush. And was it Lucky Charms?
I've had an inner dialogue going on. Maybe it's the timing, the being on flights and stuff. But as soon as the question, I thought of a fish and like a leather jacket and bow legs running from bears, and it would be called Sam and Dean. As soon as she said Sam and Dean, I was like...
Might help explain why Sam was acting a certain way.
Sam and Dean, I'll answer the question, sorry. I think Sam...
Why was...
Salmon, because it's a salmon.
I know, but why are the fish wearing leather jackets?
Because that's what Dean does, so it's Salmon Dean. Dean's a salmon. That's why the fish had bow legs. And it was swimming, but there's a bear following it.
Where did the bear come from?
They eat salmon. But Salmon Dean is a fast fish. He's white. Gets in the car, drives away with fish flipper. Mi dispiace. I think Sam...
I'm so sorry.
Sam has a lot of hope. I think Sam is filled with hope and optimism, and it even goes back to the beginning of the show and the pilot, where he almost... A big part of him wants to believe that the best is going to happen, even though he's constantly confronted with the worst. I mean, even in the pilot, he's going to school. He knows how he grew up. He knows what's out there, but he's like, you know what? No, things can be better. And he kind of has always had this optimism, which why when you see him break, like in Sacrifice, for me it's heartbreaking, right? Because you're like, Sam is the one who's usually like, Dean, you know, we can fix this and get better. Dean's seemingly more of a realist. And so I think when they meet the creator, those original kind of mindsets manifest, I suppose, into the way they behave. And Sam and Dean is running away from the bear.
Yeah, I won't get that image out of my head.
You won't. What do you mean?
Hey,
Sam and Dean.
listen! I gotta swim upstream here and get something. So apparently, apparently it's bingo night. Oh, one popped out. Two popped out.
That's what she said.
One of the two.
You say it.
99.